Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Be Perfectly Blended. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if this is your first time, thanks so much for clicking on. In today's video, I've got some dishes to get done. And then I'm going to go ahead and take down my Halloween and some of my extra fall decor like pumpkins, just things I don't need a whole bunch out because we're leaning more into Thanksgiving. And then, of course, Christmas decorating coming up, so I'm super excited about that. I'm not quite there yet, but I am very, very excited about it. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of declutter with the decorating, but still have some fall decorations out in prep for Thanksgiving. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and make chicken and dumplings for dinner. I'm super excited. I'll show the weather later on in this video, but it is like the perfect fall day. It is really raining and a lot of wind. Leaves are falling off the trees. So I thought, it's a perfect day to go ahead and make some chicken and dumplings. So I'm going to do that and then finish up with cleaning my kitchen. So I want to thank you so much for clicking on and coming along with me. I really like this Dawn Power Spray. I like the idea of spraying your pan or your grease without necessarily needing to soak it, especially if it's got grease, because once you put that in with the water, everything else can kind of get greasy. Anyways, I just like the idea of, spraying it and letting it do its thing real quick. I'm going to go ahead and put my dish rack away so that I can just disinfect my counter. I'm going to use the same bleach spray, so I'm going to put my husband's banana away as well. He likes to make smoothies in the morning, so yeah. And then I'm just spraying the countertops and giving them a good wipe down. I don't know why. I just grabbed a paper towel and then literally grabbed the other paper towels that I just had and made one big ball of paper towels, but that's what I'm using to go ahead and wipe everything down. Here I'm looking at my fall candles. I want to figure out and make sure that how much of this one is burnt down. I want to burn down the ones that are pretty close so that I'm not just putting them back up for next season and I'm not wasting, or starting new candles till these ones are done. So, yeah. And now I'm going to go ahead and take down these decorations. I still had the happy birthday banner up. If you haven't seen my previous video, I did a Sunday dinner / birthday dinner for two of my children. One turned 20 and one turned 26, and so family came over. We had a really good dinner and everything, and so I had some decorations left over, and yeah, time to take those down, pop some balloons real quick, and get it back to normal. I'm going to go ahead and let some light in, and then I'll show you what my dining room and living room is looking like. It's not bad. But I do still have this table up. You see, I folded some laundry on it, so I will get that put away. And then, yeah, I'm just going to put my excess pumpkins and Halloween type things up. Get the laundry put away first. And then I'm going to have my son put the table down when he gets home. Now, I stuck this little rocker over here when I had because I had the table up. And I like how it fits. So I'll probably do that again when I put the table up for Thanksgiving. And I do like this throw. So I'm going to keep that with the Gigi pillow for now. But over here, I'm going to go ahead and put like all my pumpkins away. And then later I have this angel down below. And I will go ahead and put that back up. But that'll be later. So yeah, and the little pumpkin signs and things like that, I'm just going to go ahead and put up. Definitely need to put the sunflowers away. That part of fall has come and gone. This is in the entryway, so the light, the pumpkins, the black kitty cats, put all that up. as I mentioned earlier, I did keep out certain fall decor. So my entertainment center, I still have like my fall leaves and the lighting up there, and of course a fall candle. But over here, I am taking everything fall off, my pumpkin lights, and up here I have little pumpkins that I keep the tea light candles in, and I'll light those about 5 o'clock in the evening, and the tea light will go till about 9, and it just goes out on its own. So yeah, but I went ahead and took those down. It's funny because I went over initially to take the second one down without the chair, as if I'm going to magically be able to reach up there and grab it or something. Now that some of the decor is put up, I'm going to go ahead and go back and wipe down or dust down my entertainment center here. And I'm going to put my little angel back up top here, and then go over and dust my coffee table. It's funny because I'll kind of crawl in between. I started doing that. I broke my foot 2 Thanksgivings ago on Thanksgiving Eve. And yeah, so in the healing process, once I was able to crawl, it was the easiest way for me to get around. So I still sometimes just crawl from point A to point B. All right, so there's everything I'm going to put away. So here's what it's looking like. I am going to keep that up, and we'll see if I switch that out or if I do that in December. But I did take the candles down. Over here again, some fall, but a little more simple. I will put that away shortly. But yeah. Here I just put this lantern. It's actually a Christmas lantern, but I have my little sign in front, which I absolutely love. And then here's my entryway. So I switched out my lamps. And yeah, simple yet still fall. I love this saying, as for me and my household. Yeah, serving the Lord. All right, it is now a little bit later. It's not too late. My youngest isn't quite out of school yet, but I am making chicken and dumplings for dinner. So I like to start that early so that it can simmer. You can see some of my ingredients back there. I've got my pot on the stove, my seasoning. So I'm going to go ahead and go over all that real quick. And then I will start my chicken to boil, and we'll go from there. Here's my chicken. I have some chicken breasts that I washed and patted dry. You can use any type of chicken. I've used chicken thighs. You can use a rotisserie chicken, honestly, if you just want to make it as easy as you can on yourself. But I just have chicken breast, so that's what I'm going with. I'm not using this butter. I have this butter out, though, just in case. This will be my mixing bowl for the dumpling. Right now, I have a pot on the stove. I like to use a pot that is larger because you're going to want to keep your dumplings a little separated, and it's just easier to do with a pot like this. Now, I have it warming up right now. It's about half full, maybe a little bit more. And then what I do is I add a little bit of chicken broth for flavor. And also, if it gets too thick, you can add a little bit of this. You also can use something like this. If you don't have chicken broth or a bouillon or anything like that, you can use something like this to just kind of season the water. And then pepper and garlic powder. I have onion powder. Here it is. I also have these. They'll just dissolve and add flavor. Yum. And then seasoning salt. And I think I pointed out pepper. And then all this here is for the dumplings when we're ready to make the dumplings. So I'll go over the measurements and all that. So what we're going to start with is, like I said, I've already added the water. As you can see, I did add some chicken broth. So I'm going to go ahead and season my water. And then once it's boiling, I will add the chicken. Now to my water, like I said, I did add a little bit of chicken broth. I am not going to add this now, but if I need to, I can. I am adding some seasoning salt. I do not add table salt right now, and that is because some of these things already have salt. But also, once you get your chicken and dumplings all together, if it's not thickening up as you would like, then you can always add a cream of chicken, a cream of celery, and of course that has salt and sodium. So you can always add salt, extra salt at the end if you need to, but you can't take away. So that's what I try to remember, because once you do your dumplings in it, there's no separating it. So if your water is too salty or your dumplings are too salty, combining them, yeah. So anyways, now I'm adding some onion powder. And I am going to go ahead and add some minced onions. They're just going to dissolve. And some garlic. I really don't measure, but I'd have to say, you know, maybe a couple of teaspoons each. And then some pepper. And what I do have, and you can or can, doesn't matter. When I do the chicken and dumplings, it is just chicken and dumplings. Very, very simple. We don't add vegetables. It's not like a, kind of like a chicken pot pie or any type. It's just plain chicken and dumplings. But what I do add sometimes when I have them is onions. And you really don't even have to chop them up because they are literally just going to kind of dissolve down. So, and if you don't have that, you don't have to add it. I had some left over and I thought, well, let me use it. So, yeah. And then once that gets to boiling, I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken. Now, for my chicken, I will add just a little bit of seasoning across the top. Nothing major because it's going to cook and I'm going to shred it and all that. So, it'll have a lot of opportunity to absorb all these seasonings going in. So I don't want to do too much, just a little sprinkle across the top. And again, I'm not adding salt to my chicken right now. Now I'm just gonna drop the meat in and it'll be in there boiling for at least 20 minutes, you know, until it's floating and ready. And so while that is going, I'm going to go ahead and put the dry ingredients together just so you can see the measurements, and I'll have that in the bowl ready. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start on the dumplings. The chicken is almost done boiling here. So I have 2 cups of flour. And then I have a teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Right here. And then I have a half a stick of butter, maybe a little more than a half a stick. And you're going to put that in together. Of course, you can wait and add the butter when you add the broth, up to you. Okay, and this is, you're just kind of mixing it together. And now what you want to do is, now that your chicken is completely boiled, so it's cooked, I'm going to remove it out. That way I can let it cool and then I will shred it. But what you want to do, come here, last little piece. I know I could have used maybe a tong, something a little easier. But if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I kind of use what I grab for some reason. So now I have a mug because you're going to want to take a cup of this broth out because that is what we're going to end up adding to our biscuits. But I like to take it out now so that you have an opportunity for it to cool. So go ahead and shred the chicken and then we'll put it together. Uh-oh, whoa. Whoa. At this point, because the chicken is all cooked, you can test your broth. And so I needed to add a little bit more seasoning to mine. So that's what I did. And now onto the dumplings. So here I'm just mixing it all together. And you're going to go ahead and form it into a ball. I'm adding the broth as needed. You don't want it super sticky, but it will be a little sticky. So you do want to get some flour, put it on your working surface, on your roller, a little bit on your hands. And then once you think it's to about the right consistency where you can pull it out and form a ball like this. And then I will split the ball in half and do 2 sets of the dumplings. So yeah, I just do it like this till I got it all together into a nice little ball. And then I'll begin to roll it out. My husband prefers his dumplings thin, so that's how I make them. So I roll and then flip and roll again. And I do mine at about probably 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch at the very thickest. But mine are about 1/4 of an inch. But I do see a lot of people do 1/2 an inch, so that's fine as well. And then the easiest way to cut them is to use a pizza cutter and just go straight down and then straight across like so. And then this is what they'll look like, little squares. They don't have to be perfect, obviously. And you'll just take them and drop them right into the boiling water, one at a time. Let them get in and get a little boiling, and then put the next one, and then the next one. And the idea, though, is that when you put them in the pot, you kind of keep them away from each other. If they start to kind of get next to each other, you can use a spoon and just push them. You're not stirring, but push them. This way, you don't want them to connect with each other when you first put them in, or you'll have a big doughy goo, and that's not what you want. So as your pot gets a little more full, you can just put them in. You might put one in one side and then add the other one in the other side, and vice versa. And again, you can use your spoon and just push through like this so that they stay separated. And then once it gets going, you won't have that problem. As soon as they begin to cook, then they won't connect with each other like that. But yeah, so as those are in there, you just work quickly with your second half and doing the same thing. Funny, I was rolling it out so fast, I ended up making a heart. I do want to mention, in my kitchen, I have 2 cutting boards. So this cutting board is strictly for things like this and vegetables and so forth. There is no meat on this cutting board. My other cutting board, which right here at the top is to the right of me, my smaller one, that's the cutting board that I cut meat on. So just FYI. Also, if you are hesitant of making your own dumplings, you can also do this with Gran biscuits. You'd have to look it up. I've never done it with Gran biscuits, but I know people make chicken and dumplings literally with like Gran's biscuits, rotisserie chicken, and if you do use Gran's biscuits, I do believe you have to use like a thickener, like a some type of cream of chicken soup or something like that. But yeah, you can make these super easy. This is not hard. It's just kind of tedious with putting in the dumplings. But once your dumplings have been in the water long enough and they're not sticking, they're moving all around, you want to go ahead and add your chicken. And then what I do is I will put my lid on. I will put it askew. And here I'm just checking on it. But this is where you have to have the patience, because it does take a little while for it to begin to thicken. It smells so good. Preheating to 400. Starting to thicken up. And of course I'm going to make some cornbread. So, yeah. So I've had the pot simmering for probably about 30 minutes, checking in, stirring on and off, and it is beginning to thicken. Smells so good. And so now I'm going to put the cornbread in. Here's our lovely fall weather. Perfect night for some chicken and dumplings and cornbread. She is finally thickened up and ready. This is about the consistency that we like our chicken and dumplings. Of course, they can be thicker, they can be thinner, however you prefer. Here was my second bowl, if I'm going to be honest with you. And yeah, dinner was really, really good. So now I'm going to go ahead and clean up. Start by getting these dishes done. I had some dishes soaking So I'm going to start there, just giving them a scrub and a rinse. I didn't grow up making chicken and dumplings. My mom didn't make chicken and dumplings, but my husband grew up with it. And so about 6 years ago, I jumped on YouTube and decided to kind of look it up. And I got the recipe for the dumplings initially from a lady. Her channel is Soulful Tea, and she's got some real good food on there. But anyways, that's where I initially got it, and then I just tweaked it with my seasonings a little bit, added like a little bit more garlic and things to our taste. And then of course I rolled out the dumplings a little bit thinner. But yeah, I wanted to let you know that way you can go check it out yourself or however you want to do it. But that's where I got the initial recipe for chicken and dumplings. And what was so cool is my husband's cousin, who I used to make it for her, probably at least like once every couple months, and she really liked it. She said it was almost about as close as she's had to her mom, so that's a nice compliment. I have a few different thoughts about decorating in terms of Thanksgiving. So here's my thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and put my Christmas tree up. We do have a fake tree. Leave a thumbs up in the comments if you still get a real tree. My parents actually still get a real tree, and we did up till 2020, and then we got the fake tree, and yeah. But as far as Thanksgiving, I do enjoy having the tree up for Thanksgiving. I think that's one of the perks of having a fake tree. So I am going to go ahead and put the Christmas tree up. It'll be a little smushy, but we'll make it work. So look forward to that video. But as far as the rest of the house, I think I'm just going to kind of keep the fall decor that I have up now, especially in the kitchen. And then go ahead and put up the rest of the Christmas decorations once Thanksgiving is over. But now that I've got my dishes done, I'm going to go ahead and scrub out my sink and wipe down my counters and get that all done. I want to thank you so much for coming along with me today. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you tried these chicken and dumplings or you made them for your family. Give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next one.